Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki Shri Prabhupada Anuga ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki Nittai Gauru Premanande. All glories assembled devotees, or glories assembled devotees, or glories assembled devotees, all glories, or glories, or glories to Shishi Guru and Gauranga, all glories Shri Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Daivim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama-shloke Bhaktir Bhavadina Hishriki. Reading from Canto 1, Chapter 13, Text 34. The shloka doesn't have a purport. We read the next one. Pitari uparate pandau sarvanah suhridah sishun arakshatam vyasanatah pitravyau Kwa gatav itaha. Please repeat. Pitari uparate pandau sarvanah suhridah sishun arakshatam vyasanatah pitravyau kwa gatav itaha. Pitari uparate pandau sarvanah suhridasishun arakshatam vyasanatah pitravyau kvagatav itaha. Pitari uparate pandau sarvanah suhridah sishun arakshatam vyasanatah pitravyau kvagatav itaha. Pitari, upon my father, uparate, falling down, Pandau, Maharaja Pandu, Sarvan, all, Nah, of us, Suhridah, well-wishers, Sishun, small children, Arakshatam, protected, Vyasanatah, from all kinds of dangers, Pitravyau, uncles, Kwa, where, Gatau, have departed, Itah, from this place, Translation: When my father Pandu fell down and we were all small children, these two uncles gave us protection from all kinds of calamities. They were always our good well-wishers. Alas, where have they gone from here? So no purport, so we'll read text 35 too. Suta vacha kripaya sneha vaiklavyat suto viraha harshita Atmeshwaram achakshano na pratyahati peditaha. Translation: Suta Goswami said, because of compassion and mental agitation, Sanjaya, not having seen his own master Dhritarashtra, was aggrieved and could not properly reply to Maharaja Yudhishthira. Purport: Sanjaya was the personal assistant of Maharaja Dhritarashtra for a very long time. Thus he had the opportunity to study the life of Dhritarashtra. And when he saw at last that Dhritarashtra had left home without his knowledge, his sorrows had no bound. He was fully compassionate towards Dhritarashtra because in the game of the battle of Kurukshetra, King Dhritarashtra had lost everything, men and money, and at last the king and the queen had to leave home in utter frustration. He studied the situation in his own way because he did not know that the inner vision of Dhritarashtra had been awakened by Vidura, and that therefore he had left home in enthusiastic cheerfulness for a better life after departure from the dark well of home. Unless one is convinced of a better life, after renunciation of the present life, one cannot stick to the renounced order of life simply by artificial dress or staying out of the home. Om Tat Sat. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmaye Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitamtam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padhan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha Nava Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabho Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. This chapter is titled Dhritarashtra Quits Home, and here we have Yudhishthira Maharaj inquiring and finding out what happened to his uncle Dhritarashtra. His father was Pandu, and Pandu's brother was also Vidura. So they were all uncles of the Pandavas. The history is that Bhishma, he got married to Satyavati, and she was a fisherwoman and very beautiful to look at. So Shantanu got attracted to her. Unfortunately, he was not able to marry her because the father of Satyavati, fisherman, laid some big conditions. He was pretty smart, and so he laid conditions that he was afraid, or rather he expressed that I don't want my daughter to get married to you because her issues will not become kings, because she's a fisherwoman, and you have another son, and you have, so they will not get any benefit. So Santanu could not counteract that. He came back very sad and disappointed. A Kshatriya is not able to get a woman of his liking, normally gets very morose, because they are generally of a passionate nature, heroic, chivalrous, and they want victory over every attempt that they make. So his great desire to woo her into being her partner didn't work out, because father came and put a spoke in the wheel with all these conditions. So how can I, do that? So he went back and he was very morose, and Bhishma found out, why is my father so morose? And he found out that this is it. He went to the forest with some assistants and he brokered a deal with Satyavati's father. He said, your only problem would be me. I would get married and I would have issues and they would be kings. So I take this promise here, this vow, that I will not get married. I will remain a lifelong brahmachari. And immediately there were shouts and blessings. Bhishma, one who takes a deadly vow. Then he became to be known as Bhishma, otherwise he was Devarata. Because he took this very deadly vow. Okay, I'll not marry for the sake of my father. Let him get married to this lady. So this is very amazing that the son is sacrificing his whole sense gratification, future, and skipping the whole varnashrama one step and jumping into being a renunciate. So that was a deadly vow. So everybody blessed him. And he came back home and he told this to his father, and his father was extremely pleased with his son. And he got married to Satyavati. Satyavati had sons. One of them was Vichitra Virya. Actually, they all didn't have issues, because one got killed by a Gandharva. His name was also similarly like the head of the Gandharvas called Chitraratha. He was also called that, and he got killed by him. And then the other one, Vichitra Virya, was a bit of a weakling. He also died out of some disease. But before that, he tried to reproduce. Bhishma bought for him 3 ladies, Amba, Ambalika, and Ambika, Amba, Ambika and Ambalika. He actually went into a Swayamvara and they told him, you are so old, why are you coming to the Swayamvara? He said, don't worry about me, I don't get married, but I can take the bride. So he actually captured 3 of those brides and brought them much against their will. Amba had already given her heart to Shalya, and therefore she got angry and she went into tapasya. She came back as Shikandi. But Ambika and Ambalika, they were asked to get married to Vichitra Virya. He did so much. Vichitra Virya got married, but he was not able to reproduce. He died. So then Satyavati became very morose. What is this? I was expecting that my issues will become kings and Bhishma sacrifice everything for this, and I am not able to have any issues from my sons. So in this way she became morose, and then she called upon Vyasa, who is her son too, from Parashara Muni, before she got married to Shantanu. Parashara Muni is the one who gave her this benediction. He saw that in the firmament, he saw that the situation was very good to beget a child. And while he was crossing the boat with her, he actually engaged with her, asked her permission. The situation is very good and I can see that a fantastic personality can be born if I can conceive. And then Satyavati agreed, and then she gave instantly birth on the nearest island And Vyasa was born from Satyavati through Parashara. So he gave her a benediction that you're a fisherwoman, you stink actually. But I give you a benediction that you will smell so good wherever you go. And that's how Shantanu smelt her out and found, wow, beautiful lady, she smells so good too. And this is how he became attracted to her. So Vyasa is also the first son of Satyavati through Parashara Muni. So Vyasa grew up immediately and told her, whenever you want me, mother, you can call me and I'll come and do whatever I need to. But I have business to do, write all the scriptures, etc. So Satyavati called upon Vyasa and he came there and she said that you must beget sons in these ladies, Ambika and Ambalika. So he was a little reluctant because he was doing something else. Devrena Sutotpatim, that you can actually, if your brother is not able to conceive in his wives, then you can actually, with the consent of your brother, conceive in the wives. That was allowed. That's forbidden in Kali Yuga. Kalau Pancham Vivarjayat, including sannyasa and all these 5 things. Forget the shloka. All these things are forbidden. But those days it was allowed, and then Vyasadeva reluctantly, because his mother is saying so, his mother summoned Ambika and Ambalika. Ambika, she didn't like Vyasadeva's gory look and matted locks of hair, red eyes and very dark body, huge sage from the forest. So she became very disturbed. She actually closed her eyes and then she was very afraid and closed her eyes, and that's how Dhritarashtra was born blind from her. And there was Ambalika, and then the other one was Pandu. She was pale and very feverishly weak, seeing Vyasadeva. And then Pandu was born. Pandu was so because he was also born pale, sort of a disease on his skin. And then seeing that both of these issues were not very good, fit enough to be kings, she again summoned Vyasa for the 3rd time and said, you must again engage with Ambika. And from Ambika said, I can't do this anymore. So she sent a servant maid, nicely dressed up. And the servant maid was very happy to get association of Vyasadeva. And she happily submitted to him. And that's how Vidura was born. So these were 3 great personalities, Dhritarashtra, Pandu and Vidura. This is a brief history. So Pandu, he was a very powerful warrior and a great Kshatriya. But unfortunately, when he went to the forest, unbeknownst to him, he did a great blunder. He saw 2 stags having a very nice time together, just about to have copulation and enjoy. And he shot that stag, testing out his hunting capacity. And that stag, as soon as it received the arrow, screamed and turned into a sage. Actually, it was a sage and his wife. They had turned themselves into stags and they were enjoying in the forest. So that stage, his name is Kindama. Kindama fell down with the arrow in his chest, and Pandu was very surprised. My gosh, what have I done? And so he ran up, and then Kindama, just before he passed away, angrily looked at Pandu and said, my dear king, if you approach your wife with the same feeling I had, and I was having some pleasant moments with my wife, if you approach your wife in the same way at any time, you will immediately die. He cursed him. What a horrible curse. That Kshatriya like him, he got a curse that you approach your wife with a desire to actually have communion with her, you will die. I was so angry because you did the same thing to me. You killed me when I was having such a relation with my wife. So Pandu became very morose that one thing he had done this, and secondly it was not good for a Kshatriya to be cursed like this. And so he became very morose. He was married to Kunti, and he also had another wife, Madri. So they both he retired. He just gave up the kingdom and went to the forest. He said, I just meditate and perform penance and leave the world. But they said that we have to come with you. We are your wives. So they followed him. And he led a completely different life. He totally changed. Very meditative and very deeply personal and spiritual. But one fine day it so happened that the climate was so good. There were very nice breezes blowing and the flowers were in bloom, and in the middle of the forest he felt, like having the company of his wife, and he caught hold of Madri, and Madri tried to get away from him and said, don't, you'll die. This is a curse, it will come to effect, and I don't want to lose my husband. But he, being a powerful Kshatriya, forced her, and then instantly he died. The curse took effect, and he died. In this way, before he died, he knew that he could not have any relationship. So he came to know from Kunti, this is a little before, came to know from Kunti. Kunti told him, I've got a special boon. Because I got a special boon from Durvasa Muni for looking after him so well that he gave me a special mantra, and you can call upon any of the demigods to do anything you want. So she was a young girl and she tried this out. Whatever this mantra is, let's try it out. And came Surya, sun god. And he came to her and said, what do you want me to do? Tell me. And she said, no, I'm just trying out. Just see if it's working, the mantra. And I just didn't seriously think about anything. Then he said, no, I can't just go like that. I place my seed in you. Now that I have appeared in front of you, and don't worry, you'll remain a virgin even if you deliver this child. In this way, she experimented and she became pregnant and she delivered Karna, and she got rid of Karna by pulling him into a nice thing into the stream. And that's another story. So she knew this, and she was already the mother of Karna when she got married to Pandu. She didn't tell him anything. Now that Pandu was in the situation and they needed progeny and they wanted to, do their grahastha duties, she went and told Pandu this. I have this boon. Then he said, you must summon and get children. In this way, Yudhishthira was born, Dharmaraj, and then was born Bhima and Arjuna. And then Madri felt very much that she has no kids and Pandu is not able to do anything. So under Pandu's instruction, Kunti gave the mantra to Madri also, and Madri also used the mantra and got Nakul and Sahadev, twins from the Ashwini Kumaras. In this way, 5 sons were born to Pandu, and then this thing happened with Madri, and he died. So Madri felt extremely guilty and said, I am the instrument for my husband dying, for making Kunti a widow, and she became very depressed. And Pandu's cremation, she went into the funeral pyre, saying, I don't need to live anymore, I am also the reason for this, and moreover, I hand over my sons to you, Kunti, look after them as your sons. And this way she went into the funeral pyre along with Pandu. So Kunti was charged with the responsibility of looking after 5 young children. And she didn't have a husband, and she came back from the forest to the kingdom. And therefore the only recourse was Dhritarashtra and Vidura. So they became the fathers. That's what here he is lamenting. How wonderful those uncles are, who looked after me throughout my life. So Yudhishthira remembers, this is a history. So with great feeling, he knows that Dhritarashtra, Vidura, and all of them in their young age gave them a lot of solace by substituting for the father. So you can imagine Yudhishthira's feelings from then onwards. Because of Duryodhana, Dhritarashtra's son, so many things happened, the war has been fought, and all the sons of Dhritarashtra were killed. Duryodhana's behavior was so lousy, so bad. And Dhritarashtra was very attached to Duryodhana. All these play of affection and desire and all that together were very complex. And so the situation was that in the war, Dhritarashtra lost all his 100 sons. Bhima had vowed to kill all the sons. He had told Duryodhana especially, that thigh which you bared, asking my wife to come and sit on the thigh, I'll break it. And Dushasana, he said, I'll, eat your heart out in the battle. And I'll kill all the 100 sons. All your sons I'll kill, he told Dhritarashtra. And these were deadly Kshatriyas. They were not ordinary Kshatriyas. Dhritarashtra knew that Pandu's sons were very special, highly talented, and many times more stronger and skilled than his sons. He knew that what Bhima said would happen, and he had a great fear. And true enough, unfortunately, he supported Duryodhana so much that the battle went through. And Vedavyas was there telling Sanjaya to help Dhritarashtra see live the whole battle. He blessed Sanjaya to be able to have this vision. So Sanjaya was recounting the whole thing to Dhritarashtra. At that time, Dhritarashtra asked Vedavyas, what will happen in this war? Which Vyasa can see. He's a Trikalagni. He can see future too. So he directly told Dhritarashtra, all your sons will die, you'll lose the war. He very abruptly told him, there's no victory for you. Jayastu Panduputranam Tasham Pakshe Janardana. Victory is for the Pandavas because on their side is Krishna, Janardan. You will lose everything, your sons. So that was a bolt hit him. He knew, and he heard the commentary, and he saw each and heard each one of his sons die, killed by Bhima. Bhima, took it upon himself. He was wild with rage on the battlefield. He was just gunning down each one of the sons. All he was doing is massive killing he did. He was so strong, he had about strength of so many 1,000 tigers and elephants and all that. He was jumping like a madman from one place to another, leaping onto elephants and beating them on the head and killing them, and then taking their trunks and swirling them like a Olympic hammer throw or something, and throwing them, and he had heaps of elephants that he piled up. He was killing the elephants and killing all of them. Each one of the sons of Dhritarashtra, he killed them, beat them with mace, beat them with his bare hands, and they dropped dead. And all this commentary came to Dhritarashtra. Hearing all this, each one down, 2 down, 3 down, 4, 10, 15, 20. Every day he was hearing Bhima is really killing them, and Arjuna is devastating everybody with his arrows, with Krishna next to him. And he knew what Vyasadeva said is correct. Krishna is standing there and making sure it happens. Because we were very offensive to Draupadi, very offensive in many ways to the Pandavas. And he had decided that's it. They will not last. So he knew victory is going for the Pandavas. After all that I did, ruled and everything, what a foolish thing. He lost all his sons. And just like he told Dushasana, Bhima jumped on Dushasana, didn't kill him, but put his bare hands into his chest dug it inside and pulled out his heart and sucked his blood in front of everybody. He's a real savage. So, very powerful Kshatriyas. It's not just ordinary, you shoot an arrow and a rabbit dies and something like that. These are very powerful. Each one of those arrows of Arjuna, they multiply into many and they were killing thousands of people. And Krishna was using both of them and devastating the entire Kauravas. Through them he was working. So they were highly empowered. So after all that happened, the killing, Yudhishthira became highly depressed. Because he thought, I am the reason for this war. And my uncle's children all died, so many of my relatives died, my cousins all died, killed by us. So he was in great depression, and Krishna used Bhishma to talk to him, assume the throne. And now when he heard that Dhritarashtra is nowhere to be seen, Vidura is not to be seen, those memories came back to him again. And he felt, I am the reason for this. It's all because of this, because my uncles were so affectionate to me from my younger days. Why did we do this? So he's lamenting. And here, when my father Pandu fell down, we were all small children. These two uncles gave us protection from all kinds of calamities. They were always our good well-wishers. Alas, where have they gone from here? So you see, Dhritarashtra did have great affection for the Pandavas too. He looked after them, after all my brother's sons. And they are so dharmic, so talented. So he had that feeling that they were good. And Vidura could clearly see that Duryodhana and company were horrible and the Pandavas good. So he openly voiced it and criticized Duryodhana quite often. And he was very nicely disposed towards the Pandavas. So there was this thing going on in the palace, obviously because people knew dharma and they knew who was really doing things dharmically, grown up dharmically, conducting themselves properly. And so naturally Vidura was on the side. Dhritarashtra knew both sides, but he was, because of his affection, was inclined. So these forces of desire, affection and everything were at play. And in that situation, Yudhishthira is feeling this. That's why it's called Ajata Shatru. One who has no enemies. He can't have enemies. Because he sees everybody in a very different way. He is above that type of a feeling. But amazing things happened in the battlefield. There was a situation where even Karna, fighting when Bhishma was down and then Karna came in, Karna teased Yudhishthira. He faced Yudhishthira and he put him down. And he said, I don't want to kill you, because Karna knew that this is my elder brother. He had already been told by Kunti. So he knocked him with the end of his, when he fell off the chariot, he came out from top of his chariot and knocked him on his head with the end of his bow and said, I'm not fighting you. You're not fit to fight me. You're not a worthy opponent for me. Go bring your brother Arjuna. So this was very insulting to Yudhishthira. He knocked him with his bow and he got hurt. And then he told him, I don't fight you, I don't kill you, I don't even fight you. Go get your brother Arjuna, let me fight him. You're not fit to be my opponent. So Yudhishthira became, although he's so kind, soft-hearted, everything, Karna aggravated him, irritated him so much that he became so angry and went back packing into his tent and he looked for Arjuna and he couldn't find Arjuna because he was somewhere deep inside the war field fighting. So he immediately wanted to take action. They have been insulted. So he looked for Arjuna and didn't get Arjuna and he became very angry with Arjuna too. And he was fuming in his tent. And hearing this, Arjuna came back from the battlefield with Krishna and entered the tent and said, what happened to my dear brother? What is it that you want me to do? Tell me. And he came and addressed Yudhishthira very nicely, very dutifully. And Yudhishthira told him, you useless Kshatriya, you and your Gandiva are useless. This is what has happened to me. In a rage he said that, and then Arjuna said, what did you say? He got angry. He said, I don't take that insult. I can't take it. Why did you say that? I've been so busy fighting and doing the things that you asked me to do. And here I come looking for you and wanting to help you, and you address me, you and your stupid, I think he used the word eunuch. You are, something like that, in anger and rage because you've been insulted. And he said, what did you say? So Yudhishthira said this, and Arjuna got super angry with Yudhishthira. And he leaped at Yudhishthira. And he went for his neck. And he said, I'll kill you. Anybody who says anything diminishing about the Gandiva that I hold and about me, I'm going to finish that person. This is my vow. So he jumped on, and both of them had verbal fights and physical fights. And they were jumping on top of each other and trying to get each other. And Krishna was trying to stop them from fighting. Stop them from fighting. Talk about misunderstanding within ISKCON between devotees. And here it is, you can see Yudhishthira and Arjuna fought. They were almost going to kill each other. And Krishna jumped in and separated them and said, foolish to do this now. There's a raging battle outside. And you both are needed. One is a king and the other one is a general, great warrior. And you both are fighting. How shameful. And then Arjuna said, no, I have to do this. This is my vow that I will kill the person who speaks anything against Gandiva. Then Krishna said, I'll tell you how to do that. And he had a formula, and in this way it was sorted out. So although Yudhishthira was very soft, but he got insulted a lot. And this Yudhishthira now, same person, is feeling for Dhritarashtra. Although Dhritarashtra did a lot of wrong by supporting Duryodhana, and the Pandavas suffered because of him. And Yudhishthira knew that Dhritarashtra was supporting Duryodhana. He could very well stop him, but he didn't because of affection. And he knew all these things, the workings. He didn't actually conclude with hatred. He didn't allow himself to hate Dhritarashtra. This is an amazing quality. That although people do something to you under the influence of material nature, by your education and by your own maturity, you say he is acting helplessly under the modes. And I cannot take what he does to me seriously. Because he is not himself. He is not himself. I know the workings of material nature. I know that this person is helplessly acting under the influence of material nature. Therefore, I just keep aside. Whatever he shouts at me, whatever he wants to do to me, I don't take that seriously. Rather, I actually show my mercy, I actually show my understanding and conquer him. This is why Yudhishthira was Ajata Shatru. He had no enemies because you can't incite him to be inimical. It's not that he was simply like that. He was a very, very learned person. Pandita Samadarshana. So he ducked and brushed aside anything anybody would do to him under the influence of the modes, including what Duryodhana did, including what Dhritarashtra did, what Shakuni did. That's why he could never be incited to be an enemy. This is very amazing. Highly tolerant, patient, very well versed. Even in the forest, when they were in the forest, Shakuni and Duryodhana made a plan. Duryodhana was very morose. After the Pandavas went off to the forest, he only sent them to the forest, cheating them in the game of dice. Look at this quality and look at Yudhishthira's quality as a Vaishnava. He had decided that I'll not have any inimical dealings. He was always very soft and nice to the Duryodhana. he would always forgive him and say, don't do this. You should do it this way. And he gave him good instructions. My elder brother, Yudhishthira, but I don't like the Pandavas because he was fully envious of them. But Yudhishthira was the right opposite. He would not get envious. He would not get angry. He would not take anything you do seriously to him. He would keep appealing to you as a person who's capable of more than what you're doing. So when the Pandavas went off to the forest, they were sent away. After some time, Duryodhana became very morose. And people were wondering why. But Shakuni was there, and Shakuni asked him, you're not feeling very happy, I know. He said, yes. And I know the reason why. And Duryodhana said, why? How will you be able to read that reason? Shakuni said, my dear Duryodhana, you're morose because the Pandavas are not here and you can't see them suffering. You like to see them suffering, then only you'll be happy. Am I right? He said, my dear uncle, how did you find out this in my heart? And he said, yes, shall we do something? I want to go and see them suffer. Then only I'll be happy. He's like, Prabhupada said Vaishnavas are paradukka dukhi. He is like paradukka sukhi. If he is suffering, I'm happy. My enemy is suffering. So Shakuni said, I knew that and I've already made a plan. Let's take all our cattle and say that need to be taken to the forest, rearing and everything, and convince the old man, your father. He will ask you these questions, give him these answers, and tell him Shakuni is also coming with me. And all that, and convince him. So Dhritarashtra obviously asked questions. I said, don't go there and do anything to the Pandavas. I know why you're going there. He said, no, I got nothing to do with them. I'm going to rear cattle. They need to be taken to the forest. We have thousands and thousands of them. We need to herd them up. And he gave all these reasons, but Dhritarashtra knew this guy is definitely going to get the Pandavas. And he allowed it because his son was, giving excuses. And Shakuni and he went there to do this. They went there and they camped right opposite where the Pandavas were camping, across a lake. And Duryodhana had fire, a bonfire, and dancing, and ladies performing, and all of them were drinking and having feasts. And on the other side, the Pandavas were eating roots and shoots and fruits and doing homa and yajna. And they were all had matted locks of hair and bark and austere, and these people were having party. A party this side and austerity this side. And there's a lake in between. And while Yudhishthira was busy doing his rituals and the homa and everything, Bhima and Arjuna were sitting down and they looked away from the homa. And I said, look at this rascal, he has come to show off. And Bhima and Arjuna were cursing him, all sorts of things. That fellow, he needs my so-and-so jab on him. I need to kick him like this. Both of them, he's doing this, they knew. And they were talking, like good friends, Kshatriya friends. This weapon should be used on him like this. Now, I wish that our great elder brother will allow us to go and finish the guy off. But he won't allow. He's like this, he's just joking, light banter. But they were very angry with Duryodhana coming to do this. He was having fun. In between was a lake, and the lake there were Gandharvas also. So the Gandharvas were having fun, taking bath and everything. And Duryodhana decided, now we are going to the next program is in the lake, closer to the Pandavas. We'll have fun. We'll jump in, we'll swim and all that. So the emperor of the whole world, Duryodhana, is coming. So they went into the lake, the soldiers, and said, get out to the Gandharvas. Get out. Emperor is going to take his bath. So the Gandharvas, few of them said that, it's okay, let him take his bath. We can be here. We are Gandharvas. We got nothing to do with your kingdom and your ruling. He's not our emperor. He can take his bath. He'll take your bath. He said, no. And there was a clash of words. And then they went and they came back and they again clash of words. And the Gandharvas were just, it looks like the Gandharvas were just trying to irritate the soldiers. And Duryodhana himself came. Who the hell is, not obeying my word? He wanted to see who they are and said, he brought the whole army and said, we'll devastate you, finish you, get out. So as soon as he said that, from inside the waters rose a whole army of the Gandharvas. They were all hiding inside. Boof! They came out and started attacking Duryodhana's army. They came to the shores and attacked them. And Duryodhana was taken aback. He didn't know this was, and they fought him out and devastated the army and took Duryodhana prisoner. And all this happened while both of them were watching. He said, great, this is what this guy needs. Bhima and Arjuna were, wow, wonderful. What a spectacle we saw. This fellow lost for all the show off that he did. This is what he needs. But in the meantime, while the fight was going on, Yudhishthira also saw it. And look at Yudhishthira, how he thinks and how the other two think. He said, no, that should not happen. He told Arjuna and Bhima, get up and go and help Duryodhana to fight the Gandharvas. They both looked at him, what is wrong with you? You're mad? Do your homa. I'm not getting out to help him. He said, no, he belongs to our family. He's our cousin. We are Kauravas. And Gandharvas are something completely different. If they attack, you must help our family member, our race, our dynasty. That ethnic feeling. He said, you must help them because the Gandharvas are foreigners. They don't belong to this place. We may have fights inside, but when somebody attacks us, we must all get together and defend. That's the right thing to do. They said, oh gosh, here comes our great elder brother, great Dharma. He speaks and he wants us to go and fight. They just didn't want to do it at all. And he said, you must go immediately and do it. So they reluctantly got up, took their bows and this thing and all, and they were murmuring and mumbling and they're walking aside to do it. By that time, the Gandharva king brought Duryodhana and said, no need. We don't need any help from you. We came to help you. We knew that this fellow is coming to do something to you. So we parked ourselves in the lake under higher orders. We didn't come to fight with you, they told the Pandavas. And Duryodhana heard this. Oh gosh, it was such an insult to him. And Duryodhana was taken and brought to Yudhishthira. They brought him to Yudhishthira. The Gandharvas, the Gandharva king, brought him to Yudhishthira and said, he is your prisoner, handing him over to the real king Yudhishthira. So this is the emperor of the whole world, Duryodhana, being handed over, handcuffed to Yudhishthira. And so obviously Yudhishthira was greater than Duryodhana, even when Duryodhana was the emperor, by his nature, by his quality and everything. His desire was to have Bhima and Arjuna support Duryodhana. And Duryodhana saw it. You could see this is what Yudhishthira has done. He has sent Bhima and Arjuna to fight the Gandharvas. And so in one sense he became humiliated, and the other sense being overcome by the Gandharvas. And everything routed and devastated. So he stood in front of Yudhishthira, very morose. At that time Bhima said, this is the time. You tell me yes, and I take my sword and lop off his head. Duryodhana said, and let's go and take the kingdom and rule. Because this is the emperor. The guy is handcuffed. And he has done something greatly wrong. And it is proper for us to lop off his head. And just nobody knows anything here. And we just go and take over the kingdom. Should you not do this, my dear brother? And Arjuna also said, yes, that's what he should do. That's what he should do. End everything, that's enough, forest life all over, let's go back. And mother is there, Kunti is there, we have to look after. And lots of people are waiting for us. Yudhishthira kept silent. And they were waiting, come on, tell me. And Duryodhana is waiting. If Yudhishthira says, okay, go ahead, he'll lop him off. And that's why the Gandharvas gave him, you should have the thrill of killing this fellow. Right? So it was a very deep decision. And Yudhishthira said, no, let him free. cut off his handcuffs, let him free. Then he advised Duryodhana, "We shouldn't do things like this." I think he came with the wrong intention to the forest. And this is what happens when he gave a whole upadesh to him. True, because he is Dharmaraj. He gave that type of a... so the distinct difference between Yudhishthira's feelings and his notions and what other Kshatriyas like Bhima and Arjuna think and what Duryodhana think, it just shines forth. Always he has been like that, and he is the leader of the Pandavas, and they will listen to him whatever he says. Because they don't like his decision, but they listen to him. Because he is right. He is the leader. That is why they were so virtuous, and Krishna got fully attracted to them. And they were always with Krishna. The greatness of Yudhishthira Maharaj, his non-inimical disposition. Anybody can do anything to Yudhishthira, he'll never treat him as an enemy. He cannot look at another person as an enemy. That's why it's called Ajata Shatru. So, that's why Narada Muni is praising Yudhishthira and said, "You Pandavas are so wonderful, led by you. And Krishna, that's why, is moving around you." What is it? Rajan patir gurorelam bhavatam yadunam. What is it? Daivam priyaha kulapati kocha nakinkarova. Astva eva anga bhagavan mukundo muktir dadati karihichit nasa bhakti yogam. He's telling that, my dear Yudhishthira, do you know that person Krishna, whom for you, he is your worshipful deity, he is your king, Rajan, Patir, your father, Guru or Alam, and he is your, everything, Kulapati, Bhavatam, Yadunam. Amongst the Yadus, he is moving around with you. And he is also your Kinkara, your servant. You sent him to go and broker peace with Dhritarashtra, and you went as a messenger. He is everything for you, that person. And he is highly appreciative of your devotion. That's why he is carrying out your orders. That Supreme Lord Krishna. Muktir dadati karihichit nasma bhakti yogam. That he gives mukti easily, but like this bhakti he never gives. But he has become everything for you. So Yudhishthira, by his nature and by his wonderful dharmic disposition, he attracted Krishna, devotion and everything. This way, the Pandavas, became rightfully the receptacle of the mercy of Krishna. Therefore, Yudhishthira, in this background you can see Yudhishthira is soft-hearted, is feeling, whatever happened to Dhritarashtra? Who will look after him? Where did he go? Because every day in the morning before attending to his kingly duties, Yudhishthira will come to Dhritarashtra, inquire of him, is everything okay? And he will call upon his servants, do this for him, give him this treatment, are you getting everything properly, rest, everything he will look after, every day. And Vidura came and told Dhritarashtra, don't stay here. You have lost the war. You lost everything. You are the one who waged the war. And so shameful. You're sitting here like a dog. And they're throwing and you're eating. You're not fit to be a dog, and that's what you are. You are a dog. You're no more the king. Yudhishthira is the king. And you're still hanging out here in the palace. And he was strongly preaching to him. Actually, that had effect. Finally, Dhritarashtra and Gandhari left. Like Prabhupada is saying in the purport here, not because they left out of frustration, they left out of a realization because of Yudhishthira's wonderful behavior and Vidura's preaching. The situation now was different. There's no Duryodhana to counteract all these teachings. So Vidura was able to preach and make sure the influence sustained. And Yudhishthira also, by his good behavior, made Dhritarashtra feel that devotion, feel that spirituality, and he renounced. While Duryodhana was there, he was never able to do it in spite of Vidura advising him. See? So such was the influence of Yudhishthira on Dhritarashtra. His devotion, his dharmic status, his very good nature, his non-inimical status, like Prahlad told his father, Vishnu is not your enemy, your mind is your greatest enemy. Neither am I your enemy. Nobody is your enemy. Your mind is your greatest enemy. So Yudhishthira, by his good behavior, he actually changed the heart of Dhritarashtra. He and Vidura played a key role. Finally, Dhritarashtra gave up and went to the forest. See? So, this is the meaning of a Vaishnava, a devotee. He doesn't react. He proactively relies on Krishna and gives benefit to others. This is a very sterling quality that we can learn and understand from. Om Tat Sat Srila Prabhupada ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Nittai Gaura Premanande. Sorry for shooting across 5-10 minutes. Any question or comment? If it's not too late.